reviewing some financial years, that is 2019-2020. I see the budget was 185 million. Actual expenditure is 0. 2020-2021, there was no budget, and the actual expenditure was 307 million. 2021-2022, the budget was 404 million, and then the actual expenditure was 539 million. The year under review, 2022-2023, the budget was 488 million. Actual expenditure was 511 million. We want the explanation of this table so that we can understand it very well, as well as the Auditor General didn't give us the details of it, but we need to scrutinize it so that we can start at a good start. General?
Audit query on this one, so it was not addressed. We just moved to subsequent observations in respect to the overall performance.
Before,
I will ask my accountant to explain.
You can.
Chair, sir, Katonga is still a growing entity, and when there is a requirement to fill some of the gaps, you find there's a need to recruit. In doing so, you find the provisions for wage for any particular financial year may vary between the budget and the last two financial years, 21-22, 22-23. The variances are going up by the increment in most staffs being taken on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'll begin with the general, and at the same time, salaries from the consolidated fund. Two, general, you know, Ugandans take UPDF as one of the most disciplined company per se, and on the basis of that, we expect that you are going to be very thorough when it comes to accounting. But in a situation where the chief is explaining that, you know, we had this budget, but along the way we found that there is need, so we had an option but to increase on the labor force. Do you find that proper? And advise us, if we are trying to report, what do we say? That this is right or wrong? Then, Mr. Chairman, there is a paragraph somewhere which talks about payments for non-existent employees and payments to staff.
No, let's first finish to analyze that table on page 2 of Katonga. After that, we shall go into details, starting with 1.1, validation of employees on identity and others. Honorable
Mr. Chairman, this statement is under 1.0.
1.0?
Yes, it's 1.0.
Which page?
You begin from page 1, the last word, which is payments for.
This one.
Payments for non-existent employees.
Yes, on top of page 2.
And then you go to page 2, which is non-existent employees, and a payment to staff, and a regular overpayments to staff, among others. That's why I started with a comment that, you know, Ugandans hold UPDF with high esteem. So if there are still issues of this nature in the UPDF, much as now, this is a...
No, remember, let me guide on this, Honorable Martin.
They paid above what they had planned. So it is reflected in the table, Mr. Chairman. So it has got a justification. Yeah.
Okay, we'll explain. Honorable
Managing Director, his first comment was 1.0, there is no complaint from the Auditor General, isn't it? I got it well. And I want to tell you there is a complaint. The complaint chairman has brought it on table number 1. The reason why the Auditor General brought in the inconsistency of the salaries, he ended up by bringing up this table to show us, is it because of the unbudgeted figures that there was inconsistency in the salaries? That's why this table number 1, we need your explanation a bit. Somewhere you did not budget for the monies, but you got the monies and used it, of course, for certain purpose, which is okay. And I think this is what the chairman wanted, isn't it?
That's it.
Yeah.
The explanation, that's all I need. Honorable Nangoli.
Thank you, Chair. I got the representative of the accounting officer, how he answered, but I have not been convinced. One is that there are procedures, and I believe in NEC you also have them when it comes to variations, moving from A to Z. Here you had a budget of 488. You moved it to 511. As I've said, there are always procedures. One is that I would like to know who authorized this variation from 488 to 511 million. 2, was there board approval? Because I believe you have the board that gives strategic governance, at the same time direction, and they're supposed to approve whatever you come up with, especially when it comes to adjustments in your budget. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Itungo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think, Mr. Chairman, clear that in the financial year 2019-2020, you had a budget. Chairman, when you look at the table, number 1, financial year 2019-2020, there was a budget. But when you look at the actual expenditure, there was no expenditure. When you come to the next financial year, 2020-2021, budget is 0, but there is expenditure. So we expect you to give us an explanation why there is a budget and there is no expenditure, and why there is a budget, why there is no budget and there is expenditure, so we are able to understand it. But I think, Chair, that was your concern.
That's it. General?
On drawing salaries from the consolidated fund, no, I don't. I don't get any salary from the National Enterprise Corporation. As a matter of fact, all members of the UPDF get their salary from Parliament. We choose one. The second one on what he highlighted as anomalies, these are really general as the explanation, as the chair has explained. On the query, indeed, the auditor did not raise any query concerning this table, I believe, because he had got a clear explanation from the accounting personnel. But if you're not satisfied, you can still get the explanation from the accountant here. who would also be in position to explain the adjustments within the budget.
Do you know, when
What I wanted to enlighten the committee is that NEC Farm Katonga became more independent because it was originally at the NEC headquarters. The budgeting was within the headquarters. So when we were...
be near the microphone.
sorry. When we were finally decentralized and became independent, that's what we explained to the auditors. That's when we started the budget. So where you don't see budget, where you don't see expenditure, it is because NFK as a subsidiary now, a new subsidiary, independent new subsidiary of NEC, was not involved in budgeting and expenditure at that time. So what you see here, 2021, is when we started now as NFK independent to do our budget, to do our expenditure, to pay, and so on and so forth. Now, on this other question which had come earlier about these differences, I want to inform you, sir, and your committee that we had done this budget in 2022. You know, the audit comes in slightly after budgeting, and I mean we start implementing the budget after auditing. So when hardly had we started implementing the budget, then there was this program from MAIF, and we were supposed to start immediately in August of 2022 to implement that project, the food and feed. So what happened was that within that money which was sent to, because MAIF worked with defense worked with NEC, and NEC worked with its subsidiary. With guidance from those above, we said we must start. And remember, in that money of food and feed, there were it was broken down. Equipment, opening of land, labor, clearing of this and that. So what you see as an increase was that we could not wait for the project because we were supposed to start with it. So we used that guidance that since that money had that element of labor, we had to get casuals, workers to come and start on the project. That's where you see that variation in the expenditure. Thank you, sir.
You said you are the general manager? You are the general manager? Be on record. You are the general manager?
I'm the general manager, sir.
Okay.
Of NFK, NEC Farm Katonga.
Members?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair, I don't know whether we proceeded well. It's as if he was answering query number 2.4.
Okay.
And yet it is a query coming.